Hey, what's going on, Motivated Familia? It's your boy, Coach Rico Lamar, back at it. Well, yet another Motivate Monday. I know it's been a while, but just like our last segment on self-care, I definitely had to get some of that in there. There's been a lot going on, both personal and in business, but still blessed nonetheless. But I wanted to really jump in on this Jay-Z and NFL ordeal, because there's been a lot of talks happening surrounding this issue, and it looks like people may be kind of split down the middle on this. So I just wanted to give my little 2 cents on it, and again, kind of just challenge you all to find the Jay-Z in your own area, or figure out how can you become the Jay-Z in your own area. And if you're already kind of doing the work in your community and in your respective profession, then just keep on pressing forward in the work that you do. But, my take on it is that a lot of people have opinions, and oftentimes it is the ones who aren't really doing much in that particular area. When we talk about pushing the ball forward with regard to race equity work, diversity and inclusion, or just social justice in general, it's only a few who are brave enough to really kind of step out on that limb and, be at the forefront or really be, down there on the street level, putting in the real work. And, because you need that as well. True enough, we need to be in the conference rooms, in our offices. But, you need the people who are on the ground, who are actually reaching the people as well, too. That's critical, or at least influencing those in that particular space. But, my take on it, as I mentioned to some of my colleagues and business partners, is more or less, we don't know what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of people are kind of, jumping the gun on what Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, is going to do regarding this particular issue. Keep in mind, Jay-Z has already been doing some work. I believe more recently he and Meek Mill linked up together and formed a partnership. I think having to do with prison reform or something to that nature. But Jay-Z's he's already been doing some work. So it's been, it's kind of shocking to see some of the people already ready to tear the guy's head off. But, I think a key sentence that he used while in that meeting was that, he felt as though, we're past kneeling. The protest in itself, the purpose of the protest is generally to bring awareness to the issue or issues that are going on. Does that mean stop fighting? Does that mean stop protesting? No, it doesn't. And I think that's kind of where a lot of people got confused. They feel like, well, it's not over. People are still getting killed. Police are still doing this and this, doing this and that, and this, which is true. Which is definitely true. But the action steps are where the real work is going to be done. I do agree with them in that particular facet of it. Now, Kaepernick's wife, or his significant other, I think, had taken to social media and, kind of called Mr. Carter out on, on those words itself, as if Cap has not been doing the work already. So it isn't just starting with him, with Jay-Z. Kaepernick has been doing a lot of charitable work, and, he's obviously donated a lot of money to numerous different groups. And I believe an organization here in Minneapolis, Appetite for Change was one of those groups. I think he donated $25,000 to that particular program. And so Kaepernick's definitely been, he hasn't been just talking the talk, but he's been walking the walk. We haven't heard a whole bunch since the settlement. I'm probably guessing that that's because typically with any type of settlement, you also got, kind of a gag order in there as well. So we haven't really heard much from him. I think a lot of people were anticipating Jay-Z, seeing as though there's been talks of him being or becoming a majority owner of a team. How I guess the obvious next step would be to see about getting a job for Kaepernick, but I don't know. Something tells me that that's off the table. Since he went on ahead and got cashed out pretty much, but and I don't know. Some would argue that since he did go ahead and take the settlement, how can you really be upset with Jay-Z? I mean, hey, he's like, hey, this guy, not to say he gave up the fight, but typically when you settle, that just means that not that you lose, but you don't really get what you want. And so with that being said, I don't know, maybe Jay-Z felt like, hey, if he's going to go ahead and settle, what's wrong with me kind of easing in here and got to kind of killing two birds with one stone. Jay-Z's always been a businessman. He hasn't gotten to where he's gotten to by not, being a business savvy individual. Then there's also some arguing points there too, but I don't want to get too winded with this. But again, I guess one of my messages to everybody commenting, to everyone with an opinion, what are you doing in your community? What are you doing to create transformational change with regard to social justice? I strongly encourage people, and it doesn't take much, to get out here in the community. We all, like you said, we know what the issues are. What role are you going to take in helping to mitigate some of these issues? That's just me putting it out there. And that's a challenge to everyone, myself included. For me, I'm about 20 years plus, deep into community and youth work and social services. And it's just part of who I am, regardless of whether I get a paycheck or not. I'm always going to be involved in building our community, building up our youth, building our adults. And so it's really a vocation in my life. That's something that, I've been committed to for a while. And so, but again, words are words, action is where it really matters. And so that's really my challenge to you all. It's one thing to sit back and talk about someone who is actually doing the work or who is in position, to do the work and do more work and maybe possibly create impact or change on a higher level. If anything, we should be supporting the individual and not tearing them down. So that's all I got, guys. Again, check out the YouTube channel, Motivate Experience TV. Coach Rico Lamar, signing out.